Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the Sports Report. I'm your host. Today we're going to be talking about the NBA top stories, scores, and recapping last night's games. So yesterday was Thursday, December 28th, 2023, and we had the Heat going up against the Warriors. The Heat were able to beat the Warriors 114-102 with Tyler Herro scoring 26 points and 7 rebounds. And the leading scorer of the Warriors was Trace Jackson-Davis, only amounting 10 points and 11 rebounds. The Warriors didn't really do much on offense, which allowed the Heat to dominate this game in the second half. Next up, we had the Celtics beating the Pistons 128-122 in overtime. The Pistons have lost 27 straight games. Their team is basically falling apart. Cade Cunningham and the Pistons put up a good fight, but in the end they weren't enough to beat the Celtics. And the Celtics had to come back from a 20-point lead in the second half to take the game into overtime. In the next game, we had the Pacers beating the Bulls 120-104. Tyrese Halliburton 21 points. Patrick Williams leading the way, 22 points for the Bulls, and Halliburton 21 points and 20 assists leading the way for the Pacers. They were able to win by 16 against the Bulls on the road. Next, we had the Timberwolves beating the Mavericks 118-110. The Timberwolves improved to 23-7. And leading the way in the Western Conference, Anthony Edwards had a great game, 44 points, 3 steals, while Tim Hardaway led the way for the Mavericks with 32 points of his own. Next up, we had the Pelicans beating the Jazz 112-105. Zion Williamson led the way for the Pelicans with 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists, and Lauri Markkanen led the way for the Jazz with 24 points and 10 rebounds. Next up, we had the Nuggets beating the Grizzlies 142-105. Nikola Jokic was perfect from the field with a triple-double, 26 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists. Led the way for the Nuggets, who destroyed the Grizzlies at home. And Desmond Bane had 23 points for the Grizzlies, but they never really had much of a chance in this game in the second half. Next up, we had the Spurs beating the Trailblazers 118-105. Wembanyama had 30 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Great game for him, and he led the way for the Spurs. And meanwhile, Malcolm Brogdon had 29 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, and led the way for the Trailblazers. Next, we had the Lakers beating the Hornets 133-112. Terry Rozier led the way for the Hornets, having 18 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, while Anthony Davis led the way for the Lakers, 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Great game for the Lakers and Anthony Davis. As we move on to the standings, we got the Celtics at 24-6 with the 1 seed, the Bucks at 23-8. Within the 2 seed, the Sixers at 21-9. At the 3 seed, the Heat 19-12, and the 4 seed, the Magic 18-12. A big surprise for them this season. In the 5th seed, the Cavs at 18-13. At the 6th seed, and then we had the 4 play-in teams: the Knicks, the Pacers, the Nets, and the Bulls occupying the last 4 playoff spots. Then we move out west. We got the Timberwolves at 23-7. In the 1 seed, the Nuggets 23-10. At the 2 seed, the Thunder 20-9. At the 3 seed, the Clippers 18-12. At the 4 seed, the Kings are at 17-12. At the 5 seed, the Mavericks are at 18-14. At the 6 seed, and the 4 play-on teams are the Pelicans, the Lakers, the Rockets, and the Suns, who have been a disappointment this year. The Timberwolves have the second best record in the league, followed behind the Celtics who are at 24-6. And as I mentioned earlier, the Pistons have lost 28 straight games. Their season is falling apart. People are chanting "sell the team" in the arena, and they can't seem to get a win. Even though they've been in plenty of good opportunities to win games, but they've been just failing to close the games out once it gets to the fourth quarter, when they really need a shot or really need a bucket. They are not able to get it done. And they currently, along with them and the Wizards and Spurs, have the 3 worst records in the league, and they're all gunning for that number 1 overall pick. Whoever that turns out to be, they're going for that right now. Let's see what other top stories we got going on here in the NBA. We got Bradley Beal returning to the Suns, who he hasn't played, I believe, about 3 weeks he hasn't played in. And it's going to be good to have him back to play with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, who I'm not sure if they've played this season all together. I will have to double check. But it'll be good to see them all together, gelling, hopefully get them ready for the playoffs, and then helping them to be a real threat in the West. Isaiah Stewart is also injured for the Detroit Pistons, who I mentioned earlier. He's going to be out at least 2 weeks. With a right foot sprain in his big toe. So we'll follow that story and see how he's able to recover, and see what the Pistons are affected by it. Tyrese Halliburton, as I mentioned earlier, had 20 assists with no turnovers. A great game for Halliburton, and interesting, a great accomplishment for Halliburton, I should say. That's about the top stories we got in the NBA so far. As I mentioned before, Jokic had a triple double with going perfect from the field. That was a great accomplishment for him. Um, that was pretty much it from the NBA. We had the Christmas games, who basically have try. I don't want to say second fiddle to the NFL, but not as many people watch them as in years past. So maybe the NBA is kind of getting out muscled by the NFL nowadays. But in the Christmas games, we had the Nuggets beating the Warriors 120-114. The Knicks beating the Bucks 129-122. The Celtics beating the Lakers 126-115. The Heat beating the Sixers 119-113, who were out Joel Embiid that game. Jaime Hawkins led the way for the Heat, having 31 points and 10 rebounds. Great game for the rookie. And then we had the Mavericks beating the Suns 128-114, and Luka Doncic at 50 points. What an amazing game for him. He had 50 points, 6 rebounds, and 15 assists. He's basically owning the Suns at this point, and they can't really do much to stop him as we speak right now. That's about it. In tonight's games, we got the Nets going to Washington to play the Wizards at 7 o'clock. The Knicks go to play the Magic at 7. The Kings are going to play the Hawks at 7:30. The Raptors against the Celtics at 7:30. The Bucks and the Cavs at 7:30. That should be a good game. The Sixers going to play the Rockets at 8. The Thunder going to play the Nuggets at 9. The Hornets playing the Suns at 9. The Spurs playing the Blazers at 9. And the Grizzlies are going to go play the Clippers at 10:30. Oh, excuse me. The Spurs play the Blazers at 10, and the Grizzlies go to play the Clippers at 10:30. That's gonna round out this episode about a recap of the NBA so far. Leave a comment down below what else you'd like to talk about. What else you'd like me to talk about as it goes towards the NBA and other topics below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.